Hello everyone, this is Mr. Regener and this is our Chapter 6 practice test. So I'm looking here at big ideas online, or sorry, not online, in real life, there it is. Chapter 6 practice test, it's on page 278. So if you look at page 278, you will find the Chapter 6 practice test, and this test matches up pretty closely with the types of questions we might see on our test. It's a great review for Chapter 6. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I don't know if you can really follow along so well with my questions here or not, but I'll go ahead and read the questions here. You can maybe look at page 278 in your own book to help yourself out. And I'm going to show my work over here. So let's get started with number 1. It says, write 7 times a number s is 84 as an equation. All right, well, this is just a matter of writing it out. Now, I know the word is means equals. I know times means times. So 7 times s equals 84. There you go. That was pretty easy. Now remember, I could write that as s times 7 equals 84. I could write 7s equals 84. And all of those would be correct. For numbers 2 through 5, it says, solve the equation and check your solution. Okay, well, no problem there. Here's number 2. It says 15 equals 7 plus b. Now remember, when I'm solving an equation, I want to find the value of the unknown, that variable there. So I look at the sign. It's a plus sign. I want to use my inverse operations to undo the 7. I'm going to subtract 7, but I must do that from both sides. The 7s cancel out. I'm left with just b. And then 15 minus 7, that gives me 8. So b equals 8, but I should probably check that. Let me check it. So I'm going to take out my b and put in an 8. So let's see. 8 plus 7, or 7 plus 8 is 15. And look, yep, 15 does equal 15. Amazing. Let's move on. Take a look at number 3. Number 3 says v minus 6 equals 16. All right, so no problem. Look at my sign. It's a minus sign. I use my inverse operations, and I'm going to add 6 to both sides to keep it balanced. The 6's cancel out. I'm left with just v, and on this side, 16 plus 6 gives me 22. But I should probably check that just to make sure I'm correct. I'm going to take out that v and put in 22. And let's see, 22 minus 6, that would be 16. Awesome. Got that one. Let's move on. Take a look at number 4. Number 4 says 5x equals 70. Now looking at 5x, I know that's 5 times x. So the inverse of times is divide. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So 5x divided by 5 leaves me with just x. Over here, 70 divided by 5, that would be 14. I can check this out, make sure that I'm correct, by taking out the x. 5 times 14 equals 70. And 5 times 14 does equal 70. Check. I know I'm correct. Last one of that section is number 5. It says 6m over 7 equals 30. Now I'm going to do something kind of unique on number 5, and that is I'm going to rewrite this showing a division problem. I have 6m divided by 7 equals 30. I like this way because to me this gets a little confusing. Think of that fraction as a division problem, and now this might be a little bit easier. Again, I want to get m all alone, but I've got this pesky division part of it. Remember, this is where we're going to kind of work backwards to undo this. So work in the opposite PEMDAS order when you're undoing it. Normally I would multiply first because that's the first thing I see from left to right. But in this case, I'm going to undo it by going from right to left. So I'm going to undo the division first by multiplying. Multiply by 7 on both sides. That gives me just 6m on this side. And then 30 times 7, just to give a little insight on my mental math here, I'm thinking 3 times 7 is 21, and I'm going to add a 0 onto the end of that. I get 210. So now I have 6m equals 210. inverse operation. I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides. Keep it balanced, right? Always keep it balanced. The m, or the 6's cancel out. I'm left with just m. And then 210 divided by 6. I got to think about this one for a second. In fact, this is a good point to show here. I can show my division work if needed, right? 6 goes into 2. Nope, it doesn't. 6 goes into 21 3 times. That'd be 18. I'd subtracting it 3, bring down my 0. 6 goes into 30 5 times. I didn't know that, but now I do. It's 35. Now to check. Plug in that 35 where the 6 is. 6 times 35, all of that divided by 7 equals 30. Well, let's see, I already know 6 times 35 is 210. I did that math earlier. And then check this out. 21 divided by 7 is 3, so 210 divided by 7 is 30. I get 30 equals 30, and I know I'm correct. That's number 5. Let me move on to number 6. Number 6 says tell whether 327 is a solution for y equals 9x. So I'm thinking about 327. Now, a big thing to know here, and that is, that's better, that the x and y ordered pair goes in that order, x, y. X comes before y alphabetically, and the same is true in my ordered pair. So I'm going to here take out the x, plug in the 3. It's like the referee blew the whistle. Boop. All right, x, get out of that game. 3, you're going in. Take out the x, plug in the 3. Same thing for the y. Get out of that game, y. 27, you're going in. All right, 27's in the game. Now I simplify. 9 times 3 equals 27. Look at that. 27 equals 27. My answer here is yes. This ordered pair is a solution for that equation. Look at number 7. Similar problem. It says tell whether 836 is a solution for y equals 4x plus 2. I'm looking at 836. Okay, so out of the game comes the x. Substituting in is our MVP, 8. And then y is out of there and 36 goes in. So let me just look at that. Now with those substitutions being made, I'm going to multiply first. 4 times 8 is 32. And 32 plus 2 is 34. Is 36 equal to 34? No, it is not. Unfortunately, 836 is not a solution for this equation. Let's move on. Take a look at number 8. This is our first of the word problems here. It says the drawbridge shown consists of 2 identical sections that open to allow boats to pass. Write an equation you can use to find the length s in feet of each section of the drawbridge. All right, so I probably have to read that more than one time, just being honest here, because there's a lot going on. But I know there's 366 feet total. I know I'm writing an equation, right? So it says that 2 identical sections open to allow boats to pass. Write an equation you can use to find the length s in feet. So if the total, I'm going to draw a little diagram here. The total is 366. And one length is identical to the other length, right? We have our unknowns here. Guys, this isn't that bad, right? We have an x plus an x equals 366. So I could do that. I'm going to, in fact, write that out. X plus x equals 366. Now, we want to actually, well, I'm trying to look at this. Actually, number 8 just says to write it out. I'm going to go the extra step on number 8, though, and actually solve it. Because you know what? Just want to do it. Now, x plus x, I know about combining like terms from my expressions days back in chapter 5. So I know x plus x is just simply 2 times x. So I can simplify that down. Now I've got a multiplication problem. My inverse operation would be to divide. So I'm going to divide 2 away on both sides. 2x divided by 2 leaves me with just x. Here's where I find the length of just one of those sides of the bridge. It's 366 divided by 2. I'm going to show that math over here because I feel like some people feel like they just need to know these things. You don't have to. We can solve them mathematically. So 2 goes into 3 one whole time. That would be 2. I'll subtract and get 1. I'll bring down my 6. 2 goes into 16 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. I'll get 0. I'll bring down my 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. I get a remainder of 0. My x is equal to 183. Now clearly, I can guarantee that that answer is correct by plugging in 183 up top. Is it true that 183 plus 183 equals 366? Yes, it is. I know for sure number 8 is correct. Let's take a look at number 9. Number 9 says each ticket to a school dance is $4. The total amount collected in ticket sales is $3.22. No, that's not right. $322. What am I reading? Find the number of students attending the dance. Oh my goodness. Okay. So each person going to the dance is paying $4. The total amount they collected is $322. So each person pays $4. $4 each person. We're going to multiply 4 times the number of people that are at the dance. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'll call that S, number of students. So 4 times the number of students is going to equal our total of 332. Well, that wasn't too bad, right? Again, just think each person pays 4. $4 times the number of people that are there is going to equal our total. Now we can solve. 4 times S, I want to use my inverse operations and divide by 4. So that's going to leave me with just S over here and then 332 divided by 4. Yeah, you can maybe do that in your head, but I'm going to show you once again the steps you would take to multiply the old school way. All right, so 4 doesn't go into 3, but it does go into 33. It goes in 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. I can subtract and get 1. Bring down my 2. 4 goes into 12. 3 times, that's a 3. 3 times 4 is 12. I'll subtract and get that remainder of 0. That means S equals 83. There were 83 students that went to this school dance. And I hope they had a lot of fun too. It sounds like a fun dance. And only $4, that's a really good bargain. That's number 9. Let's move on and take a look at number 10. Here we go. Number 10 says a soccer team sells for a fundraiser. The company that makes the t-shirts charges $10 per shirt plus a $20 shipping fee per order. Okay, so part A. It says write and graph an equation that represents the total cost in dollars of ordering the shirts. All right, so first, I've got to come up with an equation. So I don't know some things, but I do know others. I know the company makes t-shirts. They charge $10 per shirt plus $20. So it's $10 times the number of shirts we buy. We don't know how many shirts we buy, but I'm going to assume we're going to buy, I'm going to go with S again for shirts. I don't know, 10 times the number of shirts plus that $20 shipping fee. They always get you with the shipping and handling, right? So we have to add $20 onto that. There's one more thing we don't know and we need to know, and that is the total cost. I'm going to call that T for total. So now I can solve this. I'm going to just solve this by first creating a chart. I've got my X and my Y. Now we've been going X and Y for independent and dependent variable, but I've written it as S and T. So I'm going to make sure that the S and the T are there, just so we're not getting confused. I'm going to plug in some numbers, and that's going to help me to come up with ordered pairs so I can graph. I'm going to make my numbers nice and easy. I don't want to, overwork myself. So I'm going to call my S 0. If they ordered 0 shirts, now this is silly, right? Why would they do this? But they might. If they ordered 0 shirts, 10 times 0 is 0 plus 20. That means our T would equal 20. If they ordered 1 shirt, let's plug that in. 10 times 1 equals 10 plus 20 equals 30. T would be 30. If they ordered 2 shirts, plug in the 2, take out the S. 10 times 2 equals 20 plus 20. I don't know. Okay, so 20 plus 20, that equals 40. Now, we really just need 3 points to make our graph. We could go on and on and on forever. We could spend our whole lives finding ordered pairs for this, but we'll stop there at 3. Now, I am just going to go ahead and make a graph here. It's not going to be the best, but it's going to be something, and that's worth noting. On your actual test, all right, you'll be given graph paper or graph online that you can use that's going to make this whole thing a lot easier. I'm going to count on this side by tens because I'm realizing that I have to go all the way up to 40. So I just kind of smartly make my chart. Now, when I graph, I go over and then up, but I'm going over 0, so I'm not really moving, and then up to 20. So my first point right here, I'll call it 0, 20. It's right there. 130, go over 1, up 30, bloop, 130. And over 2, up 40, over 2, up 40. Bloop, there we go. There's my 2 and 40. Now if I connect my lines, there we go. We have a line that continues on and on forever. Now in part B, it says choose an ordered pair that lies on your graph in part A and interpret it in the context of the problem. Ooh, okay. I see what we're doing now. I see where we're going. So we're going to take a look at these and not think of them as numbers, but instead plug them into our formula. Think of them as number of shirts ordered and the total cost. So I'm going to write this out. I'm going to say if 2, I'm going to use 2 because that just seems like a good one to use. I'll mark that for myself. If 2 shirts are ordered, the total cost is $40. And that makes sense. Again, if we think about the scenario here, 2 shirts, $10 each, pay the shipping, our total cost is going to be $40. That's number 10. Let's move on to number 11. Number 11. It says, you hand in 2 homework pages to your teacher. Good job, by the way. Your teacher now has 32 homework pages to grade. Find the number of homework pages that your teacher originally had to grade. Oh my goodness, okay. So let's go back to it. You hand in 2 pages to your teacher. Your teacher now has 32. So the total they have now is 32 pages. That was after you handed in 2 pages. The unknown part we don't know is how many pages were there in the beginning. We started with how many they had in the beginning. You handed in 2 more. That gave your teacher 32 pages to grade. We just simply make an equation. And then we solve the equation. Now this one's kind of an easy one. You might be able to do it just mentally. But we'll go ahead and go through the algebraic steps. Look at the sign. It's a plus sign. We're going to use the inverse operations to undo that thing that's attached with our variable. That's going to leave us with just x on the left side, and then 32 minus 2 is 30. Clearly we can check this by taking 30 and plugging it up here. 30 plus 2 equals 32. We know we're right. We're guaranteed we're right. Number 11 is actually a really easy problem. It's just a matter of reading it carefully to understand it. Let's move on to our final question. The final question. It says, write an equation that represents the total cost in dollars of the meal shown with a tip that is a percent of the check total. What is the total cost of the meal when the tip is 15%? Huh? I got to read that again because that did not make much sense to me. Also, I've got to use my visual. And I'm just thinking here that you can't really see that too well on the video. So we'll do the best we can. It says cheeseburger, onion rings, chicken finger basket, combo with sub, sodas. All of these have amounts. There's a tax and there's a total. So we want an equation that represents the total cost of the meal shown with a tip that is a percent of the check total. So for this one, we need to figure out what the total cost would be if we added a tip on. So our total cost, I know you can't really see it in the book, but the total cost of the meal here is $36. Now I could write 36.00, but I'm just going to say 36, just make it a nice clean whole number. That's how much I'm paying for the food. Next, I want to figure out then how much of a tip I'm going to add on. I'm adding on a percent of that total. I don't know what that percent is, at this point. So I'm going to say a percent, that's going to be the total times the percent. So I'll say 36, and I'll say 36, I'll go P times P for percent. That would then equal my new total, which I'll call T. Let me break that down for you again. It says write an equation that represents the total cost, T, of the meal shown with a tip that is a percent of the check total. So here's our check total. This 36 times P represents the tip. We're taking that total times the percent. That's going to equal our total. So pay for the total, pay for the tip, get our total cost. Now it says what is the total cost if the tip is 15%. So let me go ahead and plug in that value. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and convert this, and I started doing it without thinking about it here. But remember, a percent, 15%. Whenever you have a percent, we're going to move our decimal to the left. We need to unwrap that percent. We move it to the left, like Beyonce would do, and 15% turns into 15 hundredths. So now I'm on my way. I'm going to go ahead and solve this part first, and then add on the 36. That's going to give me the value of T, my total. Remember, when we are multiplying with decimals, we kind of ignore the decimals. So I'm going to write this out down here. 36 times 15 hundredths. Notice the decimal's here, but I'm ignoring it for now. So I have 6 times 5, that's 30. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. Add a placeholder 0, 1 times 6, 1 times 3. Add them together, 0, 14, 5. Now I can move my decimal over 2 places, and my tip is $5.40. So let me plug that in up here. 36 plus $5.40 equals my total. Let me add that together. 36 plus $5.40. That means my total here is $41 and 40 cents. So $41.40 is my total if I have a 15% tip on $36. There you have it. That's question number 12. And that, my friends, is the practice test from page 278. Obviously, the more practice, the better. There are several more practice questions within our text that you can check out. And if you have any questions, always feel free to email me. Have a fantastic day.